This one is a bit more of an in-depth look at the business, as we have done many a time on the channel. Of course guys, as time does go on, we do have some little updates to provide, so this is all going to be included in the video. It's going to be quite a long one. I would expect perhaps between 15 and 30 minutes, but we're going to go over everything which I believe that you need to know about Hcmc. So a lot of you guys will know all of this information. Again, I'll be making some more videos in the future, providing some new information, but this one is just a recap at all of the things which you may want to know, because whilst a lot of us do know it, a lot of us do not. I think it is important to get all of the information that is out there to as many people as possible so that they can make their minds up about Hcmc for themselves. Now, before we do enter the video, you guys will know by now, I do never provide financial advice on the channel, just my opinion. So if you do want to hear my opinion, do make sure to subscribe, but also remember I am not a financial advisor. On top of that guys, if you have already subscribed, you can also join us on Twitter. I now have a Twitter. It's obviously at N2S Finance. It is on your screen. If you're in the Discord, you will see a link to it, so feel free to join us over there as well. But now I've mentioned that, we are going to jump in and start looking at how Hcmc has been moving today. So from this chart, we can't really see that much has happened for Hcmc. We've seen the typical barcoding that we have seen for some time now, but obviously the share price is not moving by too much. So far we are up by about 3.45%. Again, it is bouncing up between 0.0015, 16, and even 14 there down at the low part. So we can see a bit of bounce in the movement of the price, but obviously it is going to be looking like a pretty flat day with the barcoding that we have been seeing for some time now. Now, if we look out to the 1 month chart, we are seeing some pretty cheerful things. We've seen this big drop after that big increase in price. This brought us down to lows here of 0.0012, which is surprisingly good because we did not touch our previous low and our previous level of support, which was at 0.0010. So again, we did stay a little bit higher, which is good, and we have seemed to remain there. Now, right now, we do seem to be finding a bit of a support at this level here of 0.0014, because we've been there for some time now. Basically, again, you could basically just draw a line from here all the way along, where you have basically bounced off the 1-4 range up and down, but we haven't gone below that so far. So let's hope that can continue into today and tomorrow, and we can remain in this range, if not higher. So we're going to go over to the more technical charts on Yahoo Finance right now and have a look at what those numbers are saying. So let's just quickly change this to the candlestick charts, just so everybody can understand what is going on. And we can see a simple trend with this stock over the past day. Again, this barcoding, very intense today, that is clear. We're seeing things down here from the RSI, which is kind of decent, to be honest. You know, it's not moving by too much. The RSI is pretty flat, pretty in the middle. So again, if you were looking for that one, that is what that is saying. We are seeing down here the trend on the MACD, if you are interested in that. And again, this is a general trend for Hcmc today with a lot of volatility. So let's get a 1-day look at how the volume has been moving for Hcmc, if it will allow us to. So we're going to zoom out a little bit and highlight on the 1-day chart what we have been seeing with Hcmc. So let's just get off this and look at what the charts are saying. So let's zoom out a little bit and see what today's volume is. We can see numbers down here apparently at 2.08 billion. And again, those numbers here are a bit more clear. Look at the RSI and the MACD. So the RSI at a clear 50 right now, down to 46. But yeah, it's pretty much in the middle, if you were wondering. And then we are seeing the MACD down here, if you were looking at that as well. So that's the general trends that we are seeing for Hcmc. Again, a lot of volume today, but it is a pretty flat day regardless, if you were wondering. So now we're going to get into looking at the actual fundamentals of the business and why people are so happy to invest in Hcmc. So again, this one is looking at the fundamentals. In the future, we'll be looking at if Hcmc can actually hit $1. We're going to be looking at all of that kind of stuff in the next week. 1, because you guys do enjoy it. 2, because obviously it is good for the channel. And 3, because it is an interesting topic. And again, if you guys want to see it, I will continue to make it. So we have this article from many months ago. It's talking about the whole lawsuit between Philip Morris and Hcmc. Again, something which a lot of you guys probably will know by now, but I'm just going to highlight it once more for those of you that don't. So the lawsuit includes basically saying that Philip Morris has infringed on a patent from Hcmc in connection with the IQOS system, which is an alternative tobacco product. And this has been marketed and sold by Philip Morris, and basically Hcmc claims that Philip Morris is using their patent, and again, that could be something that has been infringed upon, and it could be something which they could win the lawsuit off if this is the case. So far we are seeing that Philip Morris has claimed that there is apparently 14 million users of its IQOS system, and bear in mind, this article was written some months ago. It could be higher than that right now, and it probably is, but that is what it was just a few months ago. We can see that it has apparently invested over $3 billion in their smokeless tobacco products, just to gauge how big this whole industry is, if you guys weren't already knowing. But yeah, that's what we are seeing so far. So this is a pretty big deal that we have seen around this lawsuit. Another thing regarding this lawsuit, which I think is a big deal, is that they have chosen to go with a law firm called Cozen O'Connor. Now, we've highlighted Cozen O'Connor as a law firm before, but I think it is a big deal that Hcmc as a business has chosen to go with Cozen O'Connor for one simple reason. I think it's also interesting that Cozen O'Connor has chosen to go with Hcmc, because let's look at Cozen O'Connor and its ranking, obviously amongst American law firms. So Cozen O'Connor ranked 67th by the American law firms, basically amongst all US firms. So basically this is a very high ranking firm. 67th may not sound like, you know, number one or something, but it is very high up there. And again, the fact that they have chosen to represent Hcmc does show to me at least that they have a high potential of winning this case, as they would not want to damage their reputation by taking on a case which they are likely to lose. So I do think this is a good thing, because they have a very solid law team, and again, it will also help them to build a much better argument, in my opinion. So let's have a look at what the business of Hcmc actually is. Now, this is something which a lot of you guys will know. You've probably seen their website before. It is a decent website. Again, they've updated some of the images. It looks pretty fresh now. But just to sum things up, basically, Healthier Choices Management Corp is a US-based publicly traded company specializing in providing customers with healthier alternatives to everyday lifestyle. So that sounds pretty understandable. You know, it is kind of in the name, and it does sum the business up. So they do go on a little bit down here to talk about what they do, but just to sum things up even more quickly, we can see here there are 3 areas of operation. They have the Hcmc Intellectual Property Holdings area, which basically focuses on their patents and intellectual property, so that is all there. Again, this is stuff like their lawsuits, as you can imagine, especially regarding the Philip Morris and all that kind of stuff. So it's all their patents and, you know, potential future lawsuits they could be dealing with are in this area. We have down here the Healthier Choice Markets. Now, this is a local, organic and fresh supermarkets, basically called ADA Natural Market, and this is an 1,800 square foot grocery store which is in Fort Myers, Florida, and there are also 3 other ones around the Florida area, I do believe. So you can see 4 stores down here which people are going to be using if they are looking for healthier alternatives. But again, as I have mentioned before, I do not believe that this is the biggest area where Hcmc can succeed for obvious reasons. Now, here is the area which I think is going to be biggest for Hcmc. This is their vape store industry, and they do actually have 7 vape stores across the southeastern United States. So again, 7 vape stores is a larger number, and again, what we are seeing with the IQOS system, if they are to win this lawsuit, it could definitely help them to expand the business much faster. But just to sum things up, there are the 3 areas of operation. So vaping, I think, is the most profitable. I think the food markets, the supermarkets, is a good area to work in, but I don't think it is as widespread so far. I don't think it is as easy to capitalize on as the vape stores potentially could be, especially if they do get that patent behind them in the future as well. So let's look at the actual company's business model and what they intend to do. So they basically have a little page down here which talks about their business strategy and all of the things which they intend to do, looking at their business going forwards. So here we can see that Healthier Choices Management Corp's business strategy includes, but is not limited to, continuing to attempt to expand upon and monetize its patent suite. Now again, this is something which we are seeing actually happen, as they are working on this lawsuit currently with Philip Morris. So they are obviously trying to attempt to monetize their patent suite. And I think this is going to be good for the business going forwards. And it shows that they are also quite true to their words as well, which is good. So second area of operation is to operate and also potentially expand upon their 4 health food stores and vitamin stores. Now, the vitamin stores, we have already seen an expansion on this earlier in the year, as we had Hcmc actually opening up their own vitamin store called thevitaminstore.com. I think this is pretty much another big deal, because it will have helped the revenue, I do believe, for the whole year, because we already know that a lot of the investors for Hcmc do want to support the business by buying produce as well. Now, the food stores, obviously not everybody can buy from there, as they are in a limited part of the United States. The vape stores, yes, people can buy from them potentially as well, but obviously not everybody does vape. Whereas the vitamin industry, it is not bad for you like vaping is, it's obviously good for you, so vitamins could have potentially been a really good way to expand the business, which they have already done. So again, that is another area where they have actually focused on and done so with the expansion of growing the business. So the third area is to operate and potentially expand upon their 7 retail vape stores, and the 4th is to seek out attractive new business lines with its mission of healthier choices to add to its portfolio. So again, let's talk about potential for mergers and all that kind of stuff in the future, just business deals that we could be seeing with Hcmc long into the future. So we've seen a few of these areas actually being followed up, and the company is actually, staying true to their word and following these areas of business, which is good. I hope that more of these areas can be expanded upon going forwards if we do win this lawsuit and get a decent payout. But we'll just have to see what goes on, and again, that will be something which I'll talk about a little bit more in another video. So in the news for Hcmc, we do actually have the closing of their rights offering. Now we have a little bit of news regarding the rights offering, but the rights offering is now closed. Now if you guys did not hear about the rights offering, I have a simple little article to sum things up for you down here. So this is coming from the WallStreetWarriors.com, and this person does sum it up pretty quickly. So the reason for it is to raise capital, simple as. Obviously the company is working to, expand and protect their intellectual property and all that kind of stuff, so they do need more money. Now what they're trying to do is obviously do a direct offering to the shareholders to hopefully get them to buy shares at a discounted price, and obviously that will help the business because they will use that money to help, go towards the causes which we are all looking for them to use in the future. Now this is what we saw with this area, but not as many people as intended actually bought it. So the whole idea was that for every 4 shares that you own, you can get 1 share at a discounted price. Now not everybody actually did participate in this for many reasons. Now some of these reasons I do agree with, such as the fact that obviously some people have already got a decent number of shares, it has costed them a lot of money, and they do not want to put any more money into that. I can completely understand that. And I heard other people saying that because it was calculated on the VWAP, they actually did not get a discount. And for some people, it was actually a little bit more expensive to buy this quote-unquote discount than it was to just buy the shares. So for that reason, the company did not raise as much money as they intended, as we will uncover in just a moment. But basically, they were looking to raise $100 million. And if we look over to Twitter, we can see from Jawsome Source, which is a lawyer which talks about this company very often, basically Hcmc have made $27 million from the rights offering, and the final price per share is 0.0010. So they have made a decent amount of money, don't get me wrong, but they certainly have not made the 100 million that they have aimed to do. Now, I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it is pretty decent, to be honest, for this company. I think, going forwards, this is the kind of thing that we do need, because 27 million, even though it's not 100 million, it is still a decent amount of money, which could help the business to expand and grow as they intended to do so with the 100 million. So I think the 100 million target was a bit ambitious. Some could say that it has kind of, diminished investors' hopes because they thought that this company was going to raise 100 million. And I do understand why, but I also think, with the offering and the way it was calculated, it wasn't as much of a good deal as it initially seemed. And yes, I agree with this person down here. I'm sure it will help anyway. But overall, what I'm trying to say with this company right now, Hcmc, I think it is a really interesting play. Now, some people are going to tell you that Hcmc is a stock that's going to the moon. I've spoken about my thoughts on Hcmc before, and I will do so briefly right now at the end of this video. Hcmc is a stock which is valued at 0.0015 right now. It's a very, very cheap stock, and the company is in its very early stages. The main catalyst that we are waiting on is the lawsuit, and that has not even commenced yet. We don't have a direction of which we are going regarding the lawsuit just as of yet. So overall, the next catalyst that we will get will be the lawsuit and the ruling on this from the judge, and that will basically set the tone for where the company is heading short term. I think long term, this company does have potential, but I think if you are looking to invest in Hcmc, do not put a lot of money into this. Only put in what you're willing to lose, as this is still quite a risky investment, as we just do not know where the company is heading as of yet. But I think overall it could be a very decent investment if you are willing to hold out for a long period of time. I think this could take 1 to even 5 years. I would hold this one between 1 and 5 years if you are looking to get into it now. So Hcmc, whilst it is a decent stock, if you're looking for those quick gains, I do not believe it is here. I think you could definitely make some decent quick gains here, if we do get a positive ruling on the lawsuit. But I think if you're looking for those big gains, those targets of $1 potentially, you may have to wait a long time for that. Now, some people are already going to be typing in the comments, this is never going to hit $1 because the outstanding shares is too high. Well, yes, we already know that. And there are some ways that the company could work around this. We could obviously see them do stuff like a reverse split or even a share buyback, and that would be an easy way to kind of diminish this and also help to build the share price. Now again, a buyback would be a very expensive thing to do, but looking at it from the CEO's standpoint, it will help to keep the investors happy and potentially make them even want to invest more into the company long term. But obviously I am not in the mind of the CEO. I do not know what the company is intending to do. I think this one is quite risky, but again, if you are willing to take that risk, it definitely could play out in the long term. So again, not financial advice, just my opinion, but yes, we managed to make this video in under 20 minutes. So thank you for watching. I'll see you soon, guys. Goodbye.